Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered and Functional. I'm your host, Mandy, and here is my bestie, Sashi baby.
Hello.
And today we have like a little bit of a slightly different kind of flavor of episode. I know it's one everyone's going to relate to because this is some information that whether you know it or not, it does impact you. We're going to be chatting a little bit about the science behind how we inherit our mother's nervous system. We'll let that digest for a minute there because I know a lot of people are probably like, what the hell? Valid.
Mm-hmm.
Before I dive into an explanation of it for the people, Sash, when I say inheriting your mother's nervous system, like what is your knee-jerk reaction or thought?
God forbid. God forbid. But I do understand that that is what happens. And I also do know, based on personal experiences, that this is not something that is like a life sentence or like for life. Because listen, if your mom has a great nervous system, she's a calm, cool, collected woman, and you inherit that, cool beans. But I'm sure that a lot of people that have a knee-jerk reaction are like, oh my God, please, not that, anything but that, because that was my initial reaction. And then also understanding, which I'm sure you're going to cover here, and we're going to talk about understanding that that could very much be reversed and can be changed, was like, whew, okay, I just have to do some work on myself.
hmm Yeah. And it can be changed and it can be reversed. And the first step to that is actually understanding what the hell is going on. It's a story time. I want to take you guys back in the day, thousands of years ago, to our cave people ancestors. And
I thought you were going to be funny and be like, thousands of years ago when your mother was
oh
born.
shit. Dang. Okay, how to rile a boomer 101. No. Okay, no. Past that, past that. Your mom's mom, whatever. Taking it back to our old ancestors, cave people, nomadic people, wanderers. This is a mechanism of survival, actually. This is really what it goes back to. It is a primal survival mechanism. And when our mothers become pregnant with us, if we are in an environment that's controlled, let's say you end up being a summer baby of one of the cave women, and there's abundance of food and there's safety, we've got a nice cave, we're not traveling, everything's cool. Your mom, your cave mom woman is going to be a little bit more relaxed. There's an abundance of food. We don't have to worry about that. We have a home to live in. We don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about moving. Nobody's coming to fight us for our cave. Like it's all good. So if that woman's nervous system is relaxed because everything is good, that baby's nervous system is going to be relaxed and primed to come out more chill once that baby's born. Now, on the other hand, if that cave woman is pregnant and food isn't readily abundant, or they don't have like a place to live, we're nomadic, we're moving around, there's a saber-toothed tiger that's been stalking us, that mom's body is going to be in fight or flight. So what that tells the baby in utero is that, hey, you're going to be born into a little bit of a chaotic environment. So in order to give you the best shot at survival, we're going to prime your nervous system for fight or flight because we want you to survive. The body's prime directive is survival, not necessarily thriving, but surviving.
No.
This applies. We inherited that primal survival system from our cave people ancestors to modern day. So if you have a conversation with your mom and ask her how her pregnancy was, or let's say, I think this is kind of where the stereotypes of like firstborn, middle child, like youngest child come from. Because like when you're a first time mom, you're worried about everything, right? You're like, oh my God, I've never had a baby before. What do I do? Like, what do I expect? What's happening? So I feel like a lot of firstborns come out and they're more responsible or they're very like hyper diligent and they like structure and they like planning because most likely those mothers were a little fight or flight while they were pregnant. I kind of thought about it in regards to my own mom. No, I'll give you a second in a moment to talk about your experience if you want to. But looking back, when my mom was pregnant with me, she was not in the best marriage, very emotionally abusive. My biological father was very verbally abusive. And at one point, not due to my biological father, she fell down the stairs and broke her leg when she was pregnant with me. She slipped. So she was in crutches like at 7, 8 months pregnant. So her nervous system, not in the best place. I was born, and now knowing what I know now, I look back and I'm like, oh, I was always called a very serious child. I was always told I have an old soul. I was always very hyper aware of things because my nervous system's default was fight or flight. And I didn't even know this until like a couple years ago. Did
Yeah.
you have a similar experience? Because I know you're also the oldest.
I am the oldest. I feel like we're a copy and paste, and you'll understand what I'm saying in a second. I am the oldest. My mom also fell down when she was
What?
pregnant with me. Yeah, but like on her stomach, also downstairs. It wasn't like a flight of stairs, but it was like rocks.
Mm.
And she had to go to the hospital while she was pregnant with me to make sure I was okay. And when I was born, I had like a huge red mark on my stomach. And like it's faded a lot, but like in all my baby photos, there's this like huge red circle that was like up over here. And then like as I grew, it like gradually got lower. And I still have like a very slight like discoloration in that spot, but that was from falling and like it was always there. Like when I came out, it was there. And I mean, that definitely didn't help the fight or flight. My mom, as a person, is also like very antsy, anxious, on high stress at all times. She did not have a good relationship with my grandma, like her mother-in-law. And it was just like her and my dad were having some problems during that time as well, like not the best relationship. So, I mean, yeah, that shows a lot. And like I similarly very on the go, very fight or flight. Like I have to fight myself to calm down, to like clean the counter slower. Like not like but like slow down. Or like when I'm throwing in the laundry, it's not like it's like okay, like you can just put it in. Or when I'm cooking, like anything, like I like have to like clock myself and be like, you're good. You're fine. Relax.
Breathe.
Chill. Breathe. Slow down. Talk a little slower. Like, chill.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's wild when you stop and actually think about how much this affects us as children and then growing into teens and then a young adult. Like I said, I wasn't even aware about this and how it impacted and shaped my life until like 2 years ago. And that's also when I maybe before that and not consciously realizing that this was what I was trying to do as far as regulating my nervous system. Like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I'd be like, try meditation. I'm gonna try some other things that are a little bit more zen because I've always been a very be productive, do this, get it done, lists like that Lady Gaga meme, bus, concert, club, another club. That was
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
And to an extent, like that is still me today. But understanding how much that default fight or flight state has impacted me into adulthood, even though that is still my default state, now I've changed how I feel about it and I'm more aware of it. And like you said, it's just being very mindful and present. Am I rushing doing the dishes? Do I need to be? Why am I doing this? You can slow down. It's fine. It's still going to
Yeah.
get done. You're still going to be productive, but there's no reason to do them like you're on a game show trying to win $1 million to see who gets shit done the fastest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you move through life like that, you're just reinforcing that your nervous system has to be on high alert. What, if you don't mind sharing, like, what are some of the other, if any, things you've kind of implemented or done to correct that in yourself?
I mean, the first one is the most important one, and that's like acknowledging when I am moving too quick or
Mhm.
thinking too fast. And like, I still, like, similarly to you, still do these things. Like, I still, to some extent, have that fight or flight response. And I try to use it to my advantage. Like, I use it towards good things, like, not fight or flight with everything, but like when it comes to like getting stuff done with my business, getting stuff done with my clients, doing certain things for like time wise, like when I'm on a time crunch, I used to tell myself like I need to wait until the last minute because I work better under pressure. And I'm like, why do
Mm-hmm.
I work better under pressure? Like, why do I need to wait until 11:58 to submit something that's due at 12? Like, why do I need to do that? And like I don't need to. Like, I actually feel so much better when I submit it at 2 p.m. instead of 11:59 p.m. or like when I take care of the tasks like right away. Really being able to like stop and like literally just pause, like force myself to stop. Like force myself, like when I notice that I'm like cleaning too quickly, I'll literally stop and be like, where am I rushing? Like what is happening? Like where am I going? And like having those moments, like there wasn't like one specific thing besides acknowledging like where I'm trying to fly through, which is like not necessary, and like where I'm need to press the brakes. Once I started acknowledging that, I still unconsciously sometimes give in to like the fight or flight and like move at a quick speed. But as soon as I notice that I'm doing it, I like pause and I'm like, why? Is it necessary? Am I actually in a rush? Like, do I actually need to like get somewhere, do something, have a meeting, have something that I need to move a little quicker? If yes, okay, makes sense. Get it done. If no, chill. Like forcing myself to just chill and like not be so like to the minute with every single thing because it's not the end of the world.
That's something I've adopted that's helped me a lot. Sorry, I'm thinking about like especially in surgery because there's surgeon that how do I say this? When I started working at the surgery center that I work at now, there was and is a surgeon that notoriously would kick certain scrub people out of the room if they could not keep up or like did not know 100% no questions what they were doing. And there was like very little wiggle room to fail
Mm,
in that room. What I started implementing during those cases, like in live time, and now I can stroll into his room and like I'm good. I'm Gucci. But in the beginning, I would go in there and I would feel my heart like beating so fast that I would in real time be scrubbed in doing all the things and I would be like, nope, stop. Let's box breathe. And I'd be passing instruments and be like for 4 counts and then I'd hold it and then I would exhale for 4 counts. And it's
yeah,
like
that's true.
nobody knows you're doing it as long as you're not like being obnoxiously loud about it. And that's one example that I've taken into nursing with me, but I'll do it in everyday life too when I realize that I am rushing or if I feel activated, and that will bring me right back down because like
Yeah, I didn't even
intention.
think about that because I do it so subconsciously now, the box
Mhm,
breathing. Like I do the same thing. Like if I
mhm,
feel very like overstimulated almost, I'm like,
mhm. Deep breath and long exhale. And science part of that is it activates your vagus nerve to kind of bring your blood pressure and heart rate down a little bit. All of this to say is that it is a process to re-regulate your nervous system to have a more calm default. So you're not automatically stuck with this wired fight or flight response if that is the environment that your mother was in while she was pregnant with you.
yeah.
And kind of the last thing I want to touch on, this is a shorter episode, but I have been also open about this where my fiance and I do not plan to have children. But I have thought about it a lot. Like, if I were to be a mom, that is going to directly impact whatever children I were to have. So, Sasha, I'm curious because I know you do want to have a family. Is this something that I know you're like years away from planning that out, but is this something that you've taken into consideration yet or really thought about like how you want to have I know you can't plan a pregnancy, but when you are pregnant, have you thought about like how you want to have your environment around you and how it would impact your future children?
Yeah, absolutely. And that looks like doing everything I can to be as regulated as possible. And my goal is that the only stress, granted, life stress, like there will
Mhm.
always be something stress, but my goal is that for the most amount of stress for me to have during that time is the stress that I put myself through in the gym, like physically, like working out, and the stress of like just hiring like an assistant coach or something to if I'm gonna need help with that further down the line. But I love that you asked me this because even though this is something that is, God willingly, 3 years, 4 years, however long away, but like this is something that I want for my future, I have been actively taking action right now. And I mean, we're getting married in a couple of months, like in a few months. And not that we're like planning for kids within the next couple of years, but like you said, you never know. And regardless of that, I have been taking active steps now of who I allow in my surroundings, who I let around me. And a lot of it, yes, is for me and for like right now, present to not spike my nervous system and like for it to not spike that anxiousness and just like not allow that negativity around me. But we've actively had conversations where it's like, hey, this family member is not going to be in my life anymore because outside of how it impacts me, I won't let it fuck up my kids.
Mm,
I won't let them next to our kids. I won't let them in our family. And that's like a very hard decision to make, but like for a family and kids that aren't even in the plans right now. Like they're in the plans, but they're not
right.
like actively being planned like in this many months we are going to try to have a baby. Like, like it's not something that's a conversation right now, but it makes it difficult because it's planning for the future, but it also makes me feel so good knowing that I'm already doing things proactively to not be in certain environments, not be around certain people, not allow certain people, no matter who they are. We're talking about family, we're talking about very close family, we're talking about friends, we're talking about coworker, like we just changing everything. And yes, short term, it is benefiting me right now because I'm getting rid of whoever does not serve me and don't want to have them in my life. But long term, I'm also like in this already like protective mode of I am protecting our future family, of not letting these people around me to not let them mess with me, my nervous system, my mental state, my mental well-being, because I know how much that is going to not just affect my kids, but affect our family, affect the dynamic, affect how we raise our kids. And that is not up for discussion. Like,
Mhm.
I'm like lion mode, like, don't fucking
Mm,
enter my cave.
you're
Like, don't
already a
come into my
mama
cave.
bear.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, that's the mentality that I'm in
Mhm.
because I feel like history will repeat itself. And that is not something that I'm allowing or okay with.
Thank you for sharing that. I think this is
Yeah,
something, especially like men too, but because that it takes two, it takes two
it
to make a
does.
baby.
It
So
does.
I'm not saying that your father's nervous system can't also influence you when you're born, because that is also true. It can. But obviously, being inside your mom, it's a little bit more intimate. It's a little bit more direct communication between the cells, your cells and her cells, and the placenta. I think this is something that a lot of women that want to have a family don't really think about because they're not aware of it.
Yeah.
Like they're aware of like the stress isn't really good, or maybe certain people they don't like how they feel around them, but I don't think a lot of women truly understand how much their current stress state and their nervous system can truly impact any soul that they bring into the world.
I was gonna say, and if they don't want to bring children into the world or like don't want to have kids, just understanding how your upbringing has and your mom's upbringing and your mom's nervous system has affected and shaped yours, then you can be like, you can then choose either, oh, well, this is just how I am because this is how my mom's nervous system is, or you can make the conscious decision to change something.
Mhm.
And that goes for whether you plan on having kids, whether you don't. Either way, there's no right or wrong. It's really up to whoever you and whatever you want to do. But making the decision to be a better person by now understanding like where some of your flaws that weren't even necessarily yours to begin with, but passed
Mhm.
down to you, you can make the changes
Yeah.
and break the generational cycles and traumas and whatever you want to call them because they're a thing.
No, that's a good point because like I said, we don't have plan on having kids, but I still make it an active choice to regulate my nervous system because we've talked about this before. The people you're closest with directly impact you. If I have a regulated nervous system and I'm more chill, that's going to benefit my fiance. That benefits my dogs, which are arguably my fur babies. That's going to benefit you. You and I talk pretty regularly. Like if I'm just like up here like blah, 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 you're probably going to like hang up the phone on me and be like, "Oh my God, I need to like take a walk and sit in the
Decompress.
sauna." Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know we all have people like that in our lives. After we spend time with them, they're like, I need to have a quiet car ride home.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up because it's a really good point. Even if you don't want to have children, regulating your nervous system, it's just going to be another benefit for you and for all the people that you do surround yourself with that you love. Is what I have for you guys in a nutshell. Sash, any departing gems you would like to sprinkle?
I mean, I think everything that was said was a gem here, but just the last little note that I want to leave you off with, and I've said this in previous episodes about previous things. It's not a life sentence. It is something that if you want to change, you can change. If there's anything about you that you want to change, your nervous system, the way you feel about yourself, the way that you respond to things, the way that you react to things, the way that you carry on through life, like you can make those changes. And that is very empowering. And instead of falling into a victim mentality of this is how I was raised, this is how my mom was, this is why I am the way that I am, I was raised by this, that, and the third, I had an abusive this or that. It's like, okay, we all have a past. Everyone has something. Who are you going to be moving forward? Are you going to be someone who is regulated? Are you going to be someone who is always in fight or flight and blames all of their messy actions on that? Are you going to be someone who is working on themselves consciously? Because we're not robots. We're not meant to be perfect. We're not meant to be, we're human. We are literally made to make mistakes and like learn from them. Even if you do have a very high nervous out, stressed out nervous system, it is possible for you to decompress and regulate that. And I love what you said about the box breathing. If you don't know what box breathing is, 4 counts in, 4 counts hold, 4 counts out, 4 counts hold. Practice it. Do it. Search up some other ways that you can regulate your nervous system, and it's possible.
My last departing gem is we're not here to shit on the nervous system. It serves its purpose. It has a point. Yeah, you're going to be in flight or fight sometimes. And just give yourself the grace and be like, hey, thanks, body. Thanks for trying to keep me safe. But we're talking about like, you don't have to have fight or flight be your default mode or freeze and fawn. Didn't really touch on those, but those also are a part of it as well. So you can always change. And if you are in fight or flight, freeze fawn doesn't mean you're broken, doesn't mean that at all. Just making small conscious efforts every single day to become a little bit more regulated, invite a little bit more peace in your life. And if it's something that you want, have a nice chill procreation happening type,
Yeah.
coitus, whatever. On that note, anytime we bring out the word coitus, I gotta cut myself off now. Thank you guys for tuning in. New episodes drop every Monday. Tune into Sculpt Session Sundays for Sasha. So if you guys want like a double dose, listen on Sunday and then listen on Monday, or maybe save one at the beginning of the week, save one for later because you love us so much. I know you're going to give us a thumbs up on YouTube, rate us 5 stars on Spotify, and we will see you next Monday.